Hey, what's up, folks? What's going on? Welcome on into the brand new Rogue Resistance show. Some of you might be wondering, why no fancy intro? That's because it's still being worked on. And I can promise you, we're going to have a super duper great fancy intro when it's all said and done. And when that gets ironed out, I will debut that. But welcome to the brand new Rogue Resistance program where, these gentlemen and myself are the resistance pushing back against the ridiculousness of just today's culture in general. I mean, let's face it, it's time to stand up and be united, folks. It's time to stand up for our rights, for our concerns, everything that we believe in, everything that's American. And for those of you that are around the globe, just everything that represents freedom. It is that time. So, in that spirit, I'm very, very happy to welcome a great guest today, a gentleman that is running for Congress here in Ohio. He's in my district, matter of fact, in the 9th district here in Ohio. He's going to be my congressperson if he wins in the midterms in 2022. And let's bring aboard J.R. Majewski. Yay! Awesome.
Hey guys, how are you?
Oh, we're doing well tonight, Jr. It's great to see you, my friend. Just want to kind of before we get to asking you questions here, just want to introduce. We've got this evening, Etip, the People's Champ.
Welcome, welcome, Jared. Drew, thank you for having me on. As always, brother, I appreciate it. Sorry I was running late. Like I said, sick little man, had to run out and get some takeout because I didn't have time to make dinner tonight. So, gentlemen on this panel, it is an honor and a privilege to be here with you this evening.
And we've got the Red Gaze just above Eats up there.
What's up? How's everybody doing tonight? Let's make it a spectacular Tuesday.
That's right. Of course, above me, we've got the man with the best hair on YouTube, Culture Casino.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for being here. Hopefully, we will. We'll get into some political talk, but not quite in the way that we normally would, because we have a wonderful candidate we're here to interview and ask questions about, and hopefully, folks in Ohio will feel great about selecting him as their next representative for the 9th district. Excited for that.
And of course, we have Brightest Day. He is kind of pushing the buttons, turning the dials. He is producing, of course, tonight. And we've got Tommy in the Guinea Pig Collective right above Culture there.
What's going on, everybody? Resistance is futile. Brightest Day just found that out as we just assimilated. Get out of here.
All right. Well, let's, as we said, JR is our guest of honor this evening. It's great to have him, and it's great to see somebody with that has some, as my mom says, somebody that has a good dose of piss and vinegar and gets after it. So without further ado, let's speak with JR. And, I guess the first question I got for you this evening, JR, is what made you decide I'm going to run for Congress?
Well, it all started, I would say, in January of this year. In 2019, when the NFL players decided to be little babies and kneel for our anthem, I was in progress of supporting a veterans organization that essentially takes handicapped and wounded veterans on hunting trips. And they posed the challenge to me on their year-end fundraiser. And long story short, I challenged them to beat a fundraising goal. If they did, I would double my donation, and I would also paint the biggest American flag that they had ever seen on my lawn. And annually, I have a really, really large 4th of July party. So they ended up beating their fundraising goal, and I painted the largest. It's known through, let's say, the Guinness Book of World Records and Ripley's Believe It or Not, where it's been published. They call it the Old Glory flag, but it's actually not. It's actually the Cowpens flag. I did that kind of as a slight to the media because I knew they were not bright enough to know the legacy of the American flag, and so ended up painting that. Made a lot of news, coverage, and so in 2020. History repeated itself. I gave the same offer to the group. They beat their fundraising goal, but this time I was going to paint the POW MIA flag. And right a couple days before we were actually supposed to start I was supposed to start painting, I got a call from the company that sells the paint, and they advised me not to paint the POW flag on my lawn because of the damage that they thought it would do to my grass. And so at the 11th hour, we changed our minds and decided to go with the Trump 2020 campaign logo. And so I painted the Trump 2020 campaign logo, and the rest is kind of history. I've been on newspapers from Ohio to London. I've been on Fox News. I've been on OAN. You name it, I've been on all the outlets. In some areas, there's been, accolades and respect, but others there's been accusations of being a Trump cultist, if you will.
Right.
But after doing that and the national media attention that I got, I had a Twitter following that went from probably, I think I had like 18 followers the morning that I was on Fox and Friends, and 3 hours later I had over 8,000, and that burgeoned to about 100,000. And so I wanted to use my social media presence to help local candidates get elected. And so I threw debate parties at my home. I paid for a concert stage. I paid for food, and I paid for the Trump I didn't pay for the Trump campaign team, but the Trump campaign team came and sold merchandise. And I had, I would say, close to 30,000 people cross my lawn in the 2020 election cycle. And I spent about 60,000 of my own dollars maintaining my lawn with the logo throughout the election cycle.
Nice.
Somebody encouraged me to do so. So I decided that I was going to continue the upkeep. And from there, I got to meet President Trump. I got to attend some of his rallies in a special guest capacity. I've driven in his motorcade, and I then in January after the election, I used my social media presence once again, and I raised around $30,000, and I took close to 100 wounded and disabled veterans and their family members to Washington, D.C. To attend the Stop the Steal rally. And after that, and the unfortunate events that occurred, I decided that I was going to come home and throw my name in the hat, because I was tired of politicians. I was tired of sitting in my butt and complaining and not doing anything, knowing that I have the caliber and the skill set and the professional capacity to make a difference in office.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things, JR, one of the watershed moments, I think, of that evening, after all the fallout, the initial reaction, just watching the so-called politicians stand up there, and one by one sit there and compare this incident to Pearl Harbor, to 9/11, to things that don't absolutely. It's like
they even went so far, Drew. They even went so far as to try to compare it to the Civil War, which was absolutely disgusting, considering how important that was to the history of our country.
That's off limits, yeah. And the thing that upset me was the fact that one by one, these politicians seemed to almost be declaring war on the American people at that point in time. And it's like, if you don't follow, what we believe, or you don't do this, well, you are an enemy of the state. They didn't say it in so many words, but they got that point across. And to me, I just said, enough with this. and at that point I was very grateful that I had chosen to be an independent journalist because, I feel so bad the way that my media brethren portray events because it's never reported accurately. It's almost like that CIA operation where they said, well, we've got control of the media, never ended.
Yeah, I mean, our politicians, definitely took advantage to capitalize on opportunities to polarize the general public. They started when they were fear mongering, and misrepresenting Trump and some of his statements and some of his policies. And they're opportunistic. They're an opportunistic party, and they took advantage of the events of the 6th and it was definitely not a fact-based approach. As we've seen over the months, footage has been released by private citizens, and you're seeing more and more of the reality of what actually occurred. I mean, I was there.
As was
there were people in my group. One of the videos that I released publicly was picked up by the Gateway Pundit and Newsmax. It went viral. And it shows Capitol Police initiating the violence. It shows that, the Trump supporters were essentially just screaming Trump, 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 and, this is our house. And then Capitol Police decided to, in my professional opinion, with a law enforcement and military background, the police irresponsibly used their less than lethal force by shooting flashbangs into the crowd, which is a 100% no-no. Any law enforcement body across this country and all law enforcement bodies across this country practice against doing that because of the reality that those less than lethal rounds in close range do become lethal, have a high potential to become lethal. And
you can actually blind somebody for real with those things.
Well, you can send them into cardiac arrhythmia, which is what happened to the gentleman that died.
Yeah.
I mean,
JR, I would like to ask.
Sure.
Do you suppose that maybe they fired? No, I was going to say, do you suppose that maybe they fired those on purpose to try to incite the crowd?
I don't know. I mean, I'd hate to be a skeptic in this capacity, specifically because I'm running for office. I lean more into, I would say, a fact-based, responsible argument than I would as someone that's just, living life. But at this point, I believe 100% that they were used irresponsibly. What their individual intentions were, I can't speak to, but I can tell you that, those with the background that I have, or even less of a background than I have, would have, looked at that as a very, very suspect series of events. I mean, there was no reason to fire flashbangs into the crowd.
Yeah. I want to pass it over to Culture Casino because I know that he's probably had a question. So
sure,
take it away, CC.
I'd like to pivot more towards the financial stuff that we've been suffering recently, and I'm curious because financial policy has been completely abandoned in this country for a while, based on a $3 trillion+ package that they're trying to put together that has been delayed until December, I believe. My question is, what policies are you in position to support if you are, or when you are elected, let's say it that way, hopeful, that is going to make it so that we return to the best economy of my lifetime. I'm 51 years old. I experienced the best economy of my lifetime just a couple of years ago. How do we get back there, and do you have a way to suggest to do that?
Well, I think we have to, number one, we have to put America first. And, I check all the boxes as what is commonly referred to as a Save America platform candidate. I support President Trump's policies through and through. I think what we're seeing right now is a extremely intentional plan to undermine everything that President Trump's done and weaken this country, not only from an economical standpoint, but it just trickles into national defense. A country that is not financially sound is not defensively sound. And I just had I had an interview this morning, and it turned into somewhat of a debate with a gentleman who's part of the Democratic Party who's running for city council. And, his argument was that it stemmed around global warming, but his argument was that
climate change. They're very desperately pushing that as the next COVID-19. I mean, and again, I'm not going to lead us into the globalist questions, but because we can have a whole conversation about that'll use up all the time. But no, you're right. That's where that's their pivot point, right? When it comes to fiscal policy now.
Yeah. And it turned into, the United States is, we have the highest, we've polluted the world more than any other country, and the entire chain of Democratic talking points, and they said we need to look into solar and wind, and I backed up the argument with the fact that China is building fossil plants, sometimes 2 per week, and they don't care what that does to the ozone. They don't care what that does to the earth. They're looking to solidify their status and even climb the ladder of political power, of a national, an international force, an international power. And as the United States, pretends that the world is full of puppy dogs and ice cream, and we perpetuate these theories that energy is free and coal is clean and wind turbines work, we're losing our grounds as a serious force across the world, and China is waiting with bated breath for us to falter.
Yeah, in fact, they've been going about the world and purchasing influence by writing essentially loans to acquire different strategic assets, such as ports in various countries, et cetera, et cetera. So I agree with you. So since we pivoted to energy, I'll ask this question. Is there, in your mind, is there any reason why we should still be hesitant to develop nuclear power?
Oh, absolutely not. I've spent 18 years in the nuclear industry. I'm a nuclear professional. I think we are far behind the times with respect to nuclear technology and what we could do. The entire technology is become, extremely safe. Nuclear power is one of the, if not the safest industries in the country, not only from a personnel safety standpoint, but from a public safety standpoint. You hear about more people dying in the construction industry, a 1,000-fold more than you hear about getting injured in the nuclear industry. And every close call we've had from a nuclear standpoint, they've all been through operator error. They haven't been through mechanical error. So, nuclear power, we have a technology that we've nurtured to be inherently safe, and we're still falling behind the times here when we have France and other European nations that are capitalizing on the technologies that are available to them.
Yeah, especially the Scandinavian nations, 100%. Yeah, and again, if it's safe enough to put in submarines where we put, ballistic missiles, perhaps it's safe enough to be, somewhere in the state generating energy that is cleaner energy than than we could possibly imagine. A lot of people point towards a solution of electric vehicles, to solve the problems, but you still have to get power from those. Also, electric cars aren't exactly clean technology. The dirty little secret is their batteries and things like that are made up of very toxic chemicals. So a lot of the things that we use are very toxic to the environment. So, but yeah, like I said, thank you very much. I really appreciate the answers to those questions.
No problem.
I'm sold.
We also have thorium salt reactors. That's something that's coming down the pipeline too.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I find that interesting.
These fossil plants that are retiring, they consist of about 92% of the components and equipment that are required to essentially create a thorium salt reactor. And my company actually introduced a patent to the Department of Energy about 2 months ago to turn these retired fossil plants into thorium salt reactors, just by way of swapping out the boiler. So,
Wow, that's amazing. That's incredible technology. Hopefully they'll adopt that quickly.
All right, so I wanted to go ahead and pull up a question from our chat here. This comes from our pal Tony, aka Comrade Roof Korean the Based. He says, at JR Majewski, thanks for your work with veterans. What do you think about the automatic out processing DD-214 giving an automatic red flag? I want to start a firearm training for LGBT plus people of color as 501c3.
Oh, he wants to create a charitable organization with the 501c3. So that's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Look, I think that I'm somewhat against red flag laws. I don't think that they're well thought out at this point. I don't think we have a solution to such a complex problem when you're infringing potentially on people's their rights under the Constitution. I'm a major proponent of us having the right to constitutionally carry weapons across the country. And, I believe that there are certain things that, should restrict us from carrying weapons, but I think we should be extremely cautious of how we approach those from a legislative standpoint. And, I really think that these things need to be looked at on a case-by-case basis. And when you throw factors that are into the situation to make these decisions, such as, hey, maybe the judge was ticked off that day, and when you came to court or when you went for your review, you got slapped with a crime, or you maybe wore the wrong color to court and you ticked the judge off in some whatever the case may be. There's variables that could come into play that create certain scenarios of chaos that just aren't applied fairly across the board. So I think until we get to the point to rule those out, I stand as a staunch proponent of constitutional carry across the United States.
Yeah, 2A is too important to fool with. I agree. That's yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pass it on over to ETEP and see if he has a question.
I actually do. I'm your neighbor to the north up here in the Mitten State.
No,
although I am a Buckeyes fan, admittedly. So big shout out to the Buckeyes. But no, I want to thank you. My father's a friend
of Cardale Jones's, so if you know who that guy is.
Oh, I do.
Oh yeah, Cardale.
Oh yeah, we remember Cardale.
Cardale's a good quarterback.
That guy had a rocket.
He can shoot a gun. I can tell you that.
Nice.
Yeah, he's really smart.
Yeah, he is. Really smart. Very smart guy.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you first of all for your work with veterans. My father's a Vietnam vet, and I have a lot of vets in my family and a lot of military friends, so I appreciate that very much, sir. So thank you. And my question to you would be, as far as, and I don't know if we should go down this rabbit hole, but the COOF mandates for the jab and vaccines constitutionally, obviously it seems to be an infringement on our rights. Now, I want to ask you, because you're you obviously supported President Trump, which I did too. I voted for him twice. My question is to you, his stance on the vaccine seemed at the end to be almost, I don't want to say catering to, but it was going to the people. It was placating to the people, the rush to get the vaccine out during his last stint in office was, during that time frame. It seemed to be almost placating to the people who wanted his head on a platter, and that's to me, it was kind of, I wanted to see a little more of, the hard-nosed approach that we got from him. And not to say that he should have denied anybody that, but it wasn't really his supporters to me that were, asking for this. And especially now with the rabbit hole it's taken us down. I just kind of know what your thoughts on that are.
I think President Trump was, dealing with some pretty unique situations and unique times. Mm-hmm. And I think the way that he shortened the curve of the FDA to get a vaccine out when, at many points in time, we didn't truly understand where this virus came from. We didn't know that it was created in a lab. Yes. So he's dealing with information in real time. And also he's not always getting the download from the intelligence agencies, be it what it may. Mm-hmm. So long as President Trump stayed in the, and maintained the posture of pro-choice, yes, I was totally okay with anything that came out of his mouth regarding the vaccine. Mm-hmm. You got to remember, too, he's of the age group that is, highly susceptible to, negative ramifications from not taking the vaccine. Mm-hmm. But also, if I'm not mistaken, the predominant side effects that we've seen from the vaccine have come from the Johnson & Johnson, and President Trump was a Pfizer guy. Yeah. So, maybe there's other things at play that we just don't know about. I'm sure there are. It seems to always be that way. But at the end of the day, I was content with the fact that he remained pro-choice.
Okay, and that, thank you. I do appreciate your answer. I know it was kind of
no problem, brother.
I wanted to make sure I worded the question right, so I didn't seem like I was kind of like coming on the attack against, because I voted for Trump twice. I did, and I really appreciated the fact that he was he ran as a Republican, but to me he wasn't. I'm a libertarian. I'll come out and say he was not but I've always kind of veered to vote Republican, just because it's like I feel like my candidate isn't, it's like I need to put my vote, somewhere where it's going to do the most good. And a lot of times I had to vote Republican for that. And I voted for Trump, and I did. But what I wanted to say was, I really felt for him, because it's like he had the agencies that were supposed to be informing him, operating, as antagonists to him, and that was, like you said, he was dealing with unique circumstances. He was dealing with a level of inner turmoil, and almost, they tossed around that word about January 6th insurrection. It was almost an attack from within. It was like, well, we know that by the dossier and all those things that, sure, have been proven, but, nobody seems to pay attention to. Right. So this is the thing. Would you think that he would stand a chance coming back and running in 2024 for a second term? And if so, who, and this is a far out reach right now, but who would you like to see him pick as his vice president?
Well, first, I think absolutely he stands a chance. I think if he ran for president today, he would win. I don't think, unless there's a significant decline in his health, I don't think that we're not going to see him in 2024. I think that he's hot and heavy on the campaign trail. He's raising millions of dollars. He's endorsing candidates. He knows he's the head of the Republican Party. I talk to people within his inner circle pretty frequently, and I can say that the guy is extremely energetic. Like I said, I met with him, talked with him, and I don't think he's going anywhere. I think what he's trying to do right now is run a very strategic lifestyle, to the point that he's not garnering much attention from the national media, so that they can actually focus on hanging themselves with the rope that they have and not focusing entirely on him. But he's also maintaining his presence in the public eye and keeping, patriotic Americans inspired that, there's still hope. Rightfully, in my opinion, I don't think he lost the election. I think the election was stolen. Not many politicians are brave enough to say that. Do the facts show that the election was stolen? Not necessarily, because they won't let us see the facts. Right. Is it plausible? Absolutely, highly plausible. Well, I think with the antics that we saw, the average American, regardless of political affiliation, believes that there was something fraudulent about this last election, and where there's smoke, there's fire.
Well, there's a majority based on recent polling that indicate, I think it's climbing towards 60% now. Wow. That do believe that is the case. So when you are over 50% on your way to 60, people have some questions. And one of the things recently revealed in one county that did an audit, that just a sampling of those ballots indicated some a large number of ballots. I have to be careful.
Possible improprieties.
Yeah. Thank you. We have to be careful how we word things here on YouTube.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but but it like I said, there is some of that to be accounted for when you're looking at 50,000 possibly duplicates or inappropriate things. And again, that is something that's a matter of public record. It was done in Arizona chamber. They worked with cyber ninjas and somebody who studies mathematical models for the medical industry. So it was kind of interesting. The professional they brought in was somebody who holds multiple MIT degrees, and he's
Dr. Shiva, right?
Yeah, I believe so. And he was brilliant there. But I always find it interesting that people want to argue this, and we have this big problem right now in the country because we're redefining words. So right. And they're constantly misusing words. So you have to ask them for definitions occasionally. And the one definition I would like the news media, and someday hopefully you can ask them this: what's the definition of widespread?
They'll have to circle back to that.
Thank you.
Circle back to that.
Yeah. Anyway, I have to dip off. I want to say thank you, JR. You are you're definitely going to be the best candidate for the job. Just within the few minutes I've been able to hang out with you, so I will definitely do everything I can as somebody outside of Ohio to support you. So thank you very much.
It.
All right, take it easy, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Good night, Culture.
Take care.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I do have a speech to give at 7:30, so.
Yeah, no problem. Well, we got one more.
But I still got time. I just got to give a speech in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, no worries, my friend. We'll get in this last question from Red Jays here. And he wanted to, I know, ask you something 2A related. So Gaze, go ahead, take it away, man.
Yeah, man. I'm also a very big proponent of constitutional carry nationwide. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but I would like to. My question is, do you foresee any more? Since we're kind of in the mix of the pandemic related stuff and everything, all these constant distractions. Do you see maybe them trying to quietly sneak in some more restrictions? Because we have the Stop the Online Ammunition Sales Act that was kind of quietly referred to a subcommittee and has been sitting there since April, and everyone's kind of forgotten about it at this point. Because that's a big concern of mine, that they just seem to, they have a real, what's the word? The normal word I would use, I'm not going to use because it's inappropriate, but they have a real desire to, really restrict the arms that citizens can carry. And, I mean, if they succeed with that, how dangerous do you think things could get?
I mean, I think we're one, maybe two extremely. I would say we're very brittle, and we're one or two public events away from what I fear to be, revolutions in certain areas of the country. We have to be extremely mindful of that, and at this point in time, we're such a large country. We're extremely divided, and because of how we've been treated in the national news and on let's say your mainstream societal media outlets, it's hard for folks that actually want to stand up for their rights to get organized and assemble. And we have that right under the Second Amendment. But to your point, I think that we are going to continue to see the Democratic Party manipulate the administrative state and try to pass restrictions and try to pass and cut corners on us, through this hierarchy that they have in the administrative state, the FBI being one of them. I mean, look how they're treating parents that are standing up at their school board meetings. They're calling them domestic terrorists, and they're having the FBI go after them and investigate them. I mean, that's the downfall of Congress. Congress has been, a path of least resistance set of legislators that have been chicken shits for years, and all they care about is getting money and getting votes, and they care about maintaining and sustaining a lifestyle that was, never meant to be for certain folks on the social spectrum, and they do anything and everything that they can to maintain those positions. And politicians no longer sell a message or sell a representation of their constituents. They sell their names and they sell their office for profit. And until we reset that, I mean, we're all of I would say the Nintendo age, right? Sometimes you got to pull the fucking cartridge out of the Nintendo and blow in the damn thing and smack it back in there a couple good times for the damn thing to work.
Yes.
And we need people that are willing to go to DC and tell people no, because it makes them uncomfortable. And I'm willing to do that.
All right.
And I'm willing to take a pay cut to do it. And that's the most important thing.
I think my pal down there, Brightest Day, Zach, has a question. Go ahead, Brightest.
So I had a question regarding an earlier topic. We know that the events of January 6th have been manipulated and portrayed in a manner that is clearly blurred, if not completely untrue. They're still trying to leverage it. One of the ways they have succeeded in leveraging it is by detaining several, I believe it's in the hundreds of people since that date, with no due process, no recourse, no justice whatsoever. Right. Do you have an idea or a plan on how to address that?
I mean, there's nothing you can really do as a member of Congress, unfortunately, to help these folks other than talk about it with every breath that you have. We've had some congressmen and women that have actually gone to the prisons. They've been denied access. Some have actually been allowed to speak to the folks that are being held. But maybe it's true or maybe it's not, but this is my perception, and my perception is my reality. They got their talking points. They got their tweet. They got their 5 seconds of fame on Fox. They got to slap, hands with Sean Hannity, and they got to walk away as a champion of someone who stood up for, our rights. But the reality of it is they just used it for an opportunity. If it's me, given the fact that I was there, and given the fact that I am such a staunch conservative when it comes to our individual rights, I would be at those prisons every day. I would be calling for investigations. I would be demanding that we're speaking to those folks in the Washington D.C. area that manage these prisons. I would demand why. To know why solitary confinement's appropriate for folks that are guilty of nothing more than maybe trespassing. And if those answers couldn't be provided, then I would look to a legal team that would help advise me on the best approach to get those folks free from jail. I mean, other than that, in my to the best of my knowledge, that's all you can do as a congressman.
All right, I'm going to see if Tommy has a thought, and then we'll throw one question from the chat in, and then we'll have to let JR go, because I know he does have speaking engagement to get to. So, Tommy, go ahead with your question, and then we'll toss it off to the chat.
Okay, so my question actually kind of leads back into what you were talking about earlier. You were talking about how this country is suffering and how, your state is actually suffering. What can you actually do to incentivize companies to actually buy American and stop buying from overseas and feeding China, who is our growing economical and political opponent?
Well, number one, we got to put sanctions and tariffs back on China. Biden removed those. We need to make it tougher for American people to buy Chinese products. Not necessarily tougher, but we need to make American products more cost advantageous for with respect to commerce. Right now, that's not a fact. It was 10 months ago. It's not any longer. The other thing is that I think specifically for my area in Ohio, we need to stop incentivizing large businesses to come into our communities and strip us of everything based on the fact that they demand tax breaks. We need to foster environments where our small businesses can thrive, and we need to, develop certain clearinghouses for them and grant money, make grant monies available for folks to start up a small business and bolster the SBA. Those things have been forgotten over the past 10 months. I mean, I know a couple of veterans that walked out of the service and with the help of the SBA started a small business and were successful until they had to put masks on everybody. I mean, we just need politicians that are brave enough to tell their lobbyists no. And, none of these Republicans want to tell Walmart to take a hike.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think what you're saying about small businesses, it's always been the backbone of the American economy. I mean, the big corporations, they draw in the large amounts of money, but they always tend to get bigger tax breaks. And they usually don't seem to pay their employees as well as somebody who's a small business. I mean, is there any way to actually help small businesses want to start to take off at this point?
I mean, I don't know what the climate is from a small business perspective right now. I know that my friends that I do have that own small businesses are I would say cautiously pessimistic. They did see an uprise in their businesses, around the mid-summer of this year, and then with the constant pandering of fear and this I guess embellishment of what COVID is going to do to us from an economical perspective, and then you compile that with the fact that our supply chain is experiencing log jams on both coasts. I mean, I'm not sure what a smart individual that has the capital to start a small business would be looking to do in this environment. I mean, the smart ones, I would think, are holding on to their capital, hoping for a better day.
I appreciate that. It's actually refreshing to hear somebody say something like that. Thank you, sir.
No, you're welcome.
All right. 7:27, guys. I know that JR has to go in 3 minutes. I'm going to try to.
I can take one more.
Okay. So we'll get to Trina's question for Mr. Majewski. Given Biden's overreach into corporations requiring them to have their employees get the jab, how will you fight for the rights of employees that want to hold on to choice, that maybe don't want the jab?
I think when you look at how Biden and his administration is trying to implement, again, they're using the administrative state. They're going through the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, commonly referred to as OSHA. That's a bad route. OSHA essentially has, they have limited authority to enforce private businesses, to force a mandate, onto their employees. There's no proof, no scientific basis for them to do so. As the vaccine matures and research and development, with respect to, because look, COVID's not going anywhere, folks. It's here. It was created in a lab and now it's here. So at some point, this virus could mutate to the point that it's rampant and it could be a reality. Right now, I think it's the flu. And I think there are certain cases based on your individual characteristics where you're more vulnerable. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that this is a flu virus on some steroids. And, at some point, this virus may realistically graduate to the point where we treat it like a measles or a mumps or a rubella or a polio. And if we do that and we take the correct protocols and it's all legitimately done through, our standing legal processes. I see no reason why public schools couldn't mandate a vaccination before children attend. I see no reasons why these things couldn't be implemented. But at this point, these things were, pushed down our throats. The research is skeptical at best. There's a lot of case studies out there where the government is manipulating the results. They're not reporting incidents where people are having adverse reactions. There's just so many things that have happened that create a level of skepticism amongst our general population, that I think we owe it to ourselves to stand up and say no. And at the end of the day, if people want to get a vaccination, I'm okay with that. I won't shame them for doing so.
Yeah.
Have I been vaccinated? Absolutely fucking not. Will I get one? No. But I'm not going to call you names for making that choice. That's totally your decision to make.
Yeah. Well, I want to say again, thank you so much, JR, for being gracious with
Pardon
your
my
time.
language, but
no, we let it fly here, my man. That's what it's all about on this show. We're pretty fearless when we talk about things, because you need to be now. You need to be, because they're out to get us left and right. So I just want to thank you again for being so gracious with your time. We definitely would love to chat with you again. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, from talking to you, meeting you, you're a solid guy. I'd sit down and have a burger and a beer with you anytime. You're the man.
All right, brother. Well, you got my contact information, man. Let me know when you guys want me back, and I'd be happy to come back on and take a little bit more time, speak a little longer.
All right, absolutely. And thank you so much, chat, for your great questions for Mr. Majewski, and we wish him a lot of luck here in the midterms. And hopefully down the road we will have you back on. I can't wait to talk to you again, my friend.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you very much.
All right.
I appreciate
Pleasure meeting you.
All right. I'm signing off. God bless you guys.
All right. Take care. And that, of course.
That's right. Yeah, guinea pig front and center.
That's a big
who put Tommy up there?
That's a big ass guinea
leave
pig.
the pig up here.
All right, back to the degeneracy.
No, but
hang on.
I behaved myself, Drew.
But honestly, I mean, I gotta say, guys, as far as impressions that I got off the way that he spoke and the way that he answered questions, I mean, dude is right on it. I think he knows. I mean, that's a good grassroots candidate right there.
He's relatable
because he's
a real dude. That's what we need more of, a real dude.
Yes, yeah, yep. This is a salt. They say a salt of the earth. This is like a salt of the earth guy. You know what I mean? This is This is like
exactly
like you said, that grassroots red, like ground level. That's where it's at, and that's how you start. That's how you start a career in that fucking godforsaken foray, that arena of politics. He's got thick skin to do that, because especially right now, like, I mean, imagine, like, politics has been, it's over the course of our, country, it's been civil to what it is now. And I mean, I can't even imagine, like, you're sitting up there, and you're articulating a point, and somebody just straight up just calls you a racist. It's like, for what?
but I said I like peanut butter.
But I mean, this is like the level of insanity we're at. So, like, I'll tip it looks like I got a big ass fucking hole in my head. Shit. I'll tip the cap to JR. It was nice meeting him. And I wish him all the best. Like I said, he's just to the south of me, so I absolutely support that.
Yeah, because I know where that area he's from. He's from Port Clinton. I know where Port Clinton is. And it's really a really nice laid back area there too. But Zach, what was your impression?
I think he's certainly saying exactly what he needs to say to get the kind of motivated following he's going to need. Like, he's gonna get the right people.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my concern. Okay, because for the midterms especially, I want to back populist candidates. I want people that are country first, people, because the establishment isn't getting shit done. They're laying down and basically withering anytime that the Democrats say boo. They just wither. They go along with it because they don't want to threaten their pensions. They don't want to threaten their standing. And one of the things I wanted to actually truly ask him about, and it sucks that he had limited time, because I really was going to ask him, I'm like, what is your thoughts on term limits? I was going to straight up ask it too.
They need them, man. And I mean, look at guys like McConnell. That I can't stand him. I like McConnell as much as I like Chuck Schumer. All right.
Oh yeah, dude. Two sides of the same coin.
That's it. That's it, man. And that's what I can't stand about them, because they're the exact same. It's like Two-Face. That's it. And I can't. They're just.
Well, I'm trying to think. There was this there's a lady from, like, I want to say it was like Arizona or Nevada or something like that, and she was like a ground level politician, like, you know, whether it was a mayor or something like that, and she was actually asked to run for Congress. I mean, she might have even been a representative, and she was asked to run for Congress, and she said she would absolutely not run for Congress. And even though everybody loved her and she had like that everyday person mentality, she said Congress corrupts every person that goes into it.
Comrade Roof Korean the base, if you're asking whose seat is JR running for, he's running for Representative Marcy Kaptur's seat, I believe, and she's been in there for a little while now, and doesn't seem like she's really done too much, to be honest. I remember when Marcy Kaptur was running, I didn't vote for her then, and I was not exactly thrilled that she won. But yeah, the thing is, you know, those are the type of candidates I want to see, you know, take over the Congress, because you need, you know, we're supposed to, you know, in this setup that we have in the Democratic Republic setup, our politicians are directly answerable to us, and they should be working for us.
Yeah, that's a big should be at this point.
Yeah, they used to be considered civil servants, and you know, now they're the ruling class. It's like, wait a minute.
They're not representatives in any way, shape, or form.
No,
like,
not at all.
Do you think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez really represents anybody in her fucking district?
Probably about 5 retards.
Fucking Boricua Barbie over there. You know, I mean,
Boricua Barbie.
Well, you know, ETEP, I remember they did like a poll, and they wanted to know what people thought about her and her re-election, you know, percentage would be worth. And at the time, I remember watching it, and it was less than 30%, and yet somehow she overwhelmingly won.
You know, and that's
sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah. She literally, I mean, if you listen, she does not make any. I mean, I'm sure on some level she's an intelligent woman when it comes to like.
This isn't comedy, Drew.
So long as this isn't happening.
Let me finish. I'm sure she's an intelligent woman when it comes to like making sandwiches, or in her case, mixing drinks. Which
she could make some mean fries.
I heard mixing drinks was her specialty when she was in college. But you know, policy is not one of those things that she has an acumen for. I mean, I remember watching her stupid little, she would shoot those little cell phone camera videos. She'd sit the camera on the phone, and she'd be like, I was like, is this a fucking like Beastie Boys video from 97? What are you doing? And then she's eating, and it's just like, this is the kind of person that these people voted for. I'm like, I don't see anybody, like, literally, like, who supports that? Like, cow farts are a problem, you guys. Oh my God. Like, emissions from cows. We need to stop the cow fart. Like, this is the level of stupidity that we have.
If we let him get the cows, they're coming for us next.
Man,
well remember she was absolutely terrified of the food processing food processor in the sink.
Oh God, yeah. She was the garbage disposal trigger.
Yes, garbage disposal.
I mean, you joke about the cows, but they're coming for a beef-based diet. You know, they're coming to take the meat away. They're making it
they're trying to
unaccessible. They're trying to regulate out that industry and just get us on, you know, this low-protein, soy-based, weaken us diet.
You know what?
That's a real thing.
Zach, you're bringing up a wonderful topic right there, and that'd be great for Rogue Entertainment. It's a shame Culture or Walton isn't here. That's what Rogue Entertainment needs. They need Rogue Entertainment. Where's the beef shirts?
Nice. Nice.
The beef is in the trees.
Walton will find it with his old divining rod.
By the way,
that's the hot dog.
Lindsey Graham is another one that Chap pointed out sucks. And
he likes hot dogs too.
And yeah, you know,
Lindsey Graham.
You guys remember the old Campbell Soup commercials, guys? You look like one of the Campbell Soup kids. It's like literally like messed up. Like an older Campbell Soup kid, man, and he ain't funny. That's the problem. But the
that is funny.
But the thing is like, yeah, you know, these are the type of politicians we need in there. But see, here they got an uphill battle. I feel sorry for anybody running in the midterms right now because they are going to be targeted. If you are about the people, and it doesn't matter the letter before your name, if you are about the people, you are going to be targeted because this
and
whole
hunted down in
uniparty, the whole uniparty is going to be against you.
No, look what they're doing right now. The Democratic Party is already turning on their own because of the far left progressives.
Exactly.
Yeah. The few actual Democrats that are left are like, when did we become the fucking Communist Party?
Yeah. Well, they have no say because there's so many of those types running the Democratic platform and party now. I mean, it's ridiculous.
And then there's like 4 or 5 dudes in the back of like, look, comrade, look, we did not choose to come here. I mean, we are Americans, yes, not communists. Don't worry about us at all. We help with policy decisions.
We put constituents in field.
Arwin says, save the meat.
Hells yes.
Yeah.
Can't live without that meat.
Trina says, literally, try to go get a nice steak. Yes. Oh, man. I just want to say,
half a cow.
I just want to say thanks again, man, to everybody. You know, the chat was so good. You guys came up with such good questions. And, you know, the gentleman on the panel, thank you, BD, for coordinating, producing, and bringing the chat questions to the chat. So we had them all ready to go. And also thank you shout out to the mods, to Trina and to Tommy and BD and everybody else that's wrenching today. Thank you so much for getting links out there and everything else for not only candidate Majewski, but also just any relevant links that need to drop. I appreciate that so much. And man, you know, Gaze and Tommy, ETEP and CC, man, you guys brought like killer questions. Same thing with you, Zach. And it sucks that Vinny got in here late, man, because I wanted him to get a couple in, but man.
Yeah,
you
sorry, man. And my internet was messing with me again. That's why I'm like, shit. But I got on now.
But this is what's important because, you know, when you get potential politicians, and especially those that are going to be running next year, okay, to be able to like actually get them in a setting where we can ask the questions and actually, you know, hold their feet to the fire a little bit per se, that's invaluable because that's what it's supposed to be about.
Mm-hmm.
And I am very, very, very grateful to JR for taking the time out that he did to do that because, you know, I told him that it was kind of going to be almost because this is really kind of like a virtual town hall for a candidate if you think about it, but it was that setting. But he didn't know what to expect. We ain't CNN. He certainly didn't get a copy of the questions.
Oh God, hey Drew. So you know, we posed the I posed that question about what he can do to help, like, you know, incentivize people actually buy American. And I see Kevin Sorbo on Twitter. God, I love this guy. American made means not getting stuck on cargo ships. I love it.
Right.
This guy cracks me up.
Kevin Sorbo's based as fuck and he's red pilled. I love that dude.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Nice, RR. Yeah, you know, and that's the thing. I mean, I know a lot of people, we're conditioned. We go to our supermarkets, we go to Walmart, you go to where you're used to shopping, and it's out of habit. But the thing is, if you have a local butcher, local meat market, support them. And if you have anything like a farm market, patronize that business. Because I'll tell you what,
Drew, one of the local food, one of the food stores we have down here in Florida is called Winn-Dixie, and one of the things they do is they get from local farmers. 90% of their produce and everything like that comes from local farmers. So,
right,
they closed most of them by me.
Did they?
Yeah. See, and it's because of this inflation and everything else that they're trying to intentionally torpedo it. So a lot of those type of things go under because guess what? They can starve us out between the supply chain thing, the inflation, the sweeping mandates.
Dude, that's what they want to do. It's really messed up what they're trying to do.
They want to kill you, is what it boils down to.
They do. That's why, like Drew said, support your local meat. Get to those local markets and all that stuff. But on top of it too, I mean, like this government is so filthy and shady. Like I don't know if you guys saw it. They were bringing in the people who came over the border. They were bringing them all over the United States in the middle of the night. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, those the imported Chilean Haitians.
Yeah, and mostly they said teenagers and young adults, and they were putting them all over the place. You can only imagine what that means.
They were my new gardeners and everything like that. Don't worry about it. Yeah, screw your freedom. Stop worrying about what I'm doing.
I have a suggestion. We've by this point we've all seen Squid Game, right?
I haven't yet.
I'm about to start it.
I'm just saying the red light green light game and Squid Game might be a good use for some of them. I mean, here you can win citizenship if you don't get shot. This is the way we roll. I mean, look, if you want to earn your stripes here, and I say that as somebody who just came from fucking immigrants, if you want to earn your stripes, you got to play the fucking game, and I think we should. I think it's about time we stop playing nice and being like, look, if I walked across the border to Mexico, how do you think I'm going to get treated? Am I going to be welcomed with open arms? No.
Well, there used to be a certain amount of how can I put this? There was a certain amount that you were expected to be able to perform when you came over to this country. Because I'm technically only second generation in this country. Because my grandfather came over as a small child, and he came over like right around I want to say it was right around the tail end or so of World War I.
Okay.
Or just before World War I started. No, it was just before World War I started. He came over, and they required him, even though he was a child, he had to have a sponsor. Somebody from the greater family tree that was already living in America had to sponsor him to bring him over because he was coming over by himself without his parents. He had to learn the language. He had to take a new name because Tyler, that's not my last name. Not technically, legally, according to the U.S. it is, but not legitimately. So he had to take a different name. He had to learn the language. He had to prove that he was going to be able to develop a skill once he was old enough to be able to work in this country. And that was things that they did for a long time. And then at some point they just stopped it. And they said, well, it doesn't matter what you do or if you could do anything, just come on in. And that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit because you can't get away with that shit if you go to another country.
No,
you go to another country and you don't have any legitimate way to actually give to that country in some way, form, or fashion, you are not going to be allowed in.
No. You need to be a productive member of society, an asset, not a liability.
I want to acknowledge Ruben's comment here. And Ruben, by the way, great points and comments during when we had JR on. And nice job, my friend. I know you're a passionate fellow. And Ruben says, make America alpha again. Yet I will bring being back a gentleman and a statesman. Remember, no one is coming to save us. I know you all know this. We just need to live it each day. Hail to you, sir. Yes. I know that Tina was talking about, she's been buying scrap silver to use in some of the jewelry she makes. And RR made the point that scrap silver is good in barter. And yeah, you got to remember, guys, and we're going to have to come up with stuff, improvise, because we may at some point be back on a barter system. You never know. So having things like gold, silver, whatever, doesn't
fantastic
hurt.
Comics.
Yeah.
And novels.
I used to work helping to place Russian Jewish refugees in the 90s. It was amazing at how well the system worked when there were sponsors in a large communities to support refugee families. Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. And they went through the process legally, and that's the thing. But now all this is being forced because, again, there is a bigger agenda in play, and also, they are essentially using human beings as things to barter themselves, as shields, and they're using them as pawns, and that I think is one of the most infuriating things. And we could have a talk for hours about how that trickles down to the different ethnicities and racial groups and all 9 yards, but that's what they're doing with all of this stuff. It's terrible.
Well, they want to push everything through, the whole of government, right? Because you remember, back in our day, the highlight, there were communities that helped each other. People would set up their own support systems and charities and through churches and other foundations. But yeah, and then they just gradually mandated, we'll go ahead and use that word since they love it so much, forced charity, basically, constantly, with more taxation on this and that and the other thing. And they squeeze the people so much they can't afford to help out their neighbors anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for them to come up with something where they're going to attack people that are receiving charity too.
Yeah. That's coming next.
Spending $150 million on cocaine would make sense.
Yeah,
all that
that's
while
an investment.
Every week printing
Just
a
as the
trillion,
CIA.
printing $1 trillion.
Yes,
yeah,
they're the number one buyer and supplier. Shit,
transporter, distributor.
The CIA's Art Vandalay, they're importer exporters.
Look at all the kids that they brought in. They're going to use them as drug mules, and then other
Hail
stuff.
Pyramid.
What are these teenagers? Yeah. These are what we like to call coke mules. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mama Susan.
They're stuffing them in both ends.
Yeah.
Where are they on Epstein Island? Never mind.
Is Kevin Spacey in charge of that operation? Tom Hanks.
All right.
Dude, I went to the Chinese restaurant to pick up my food.
Did you wear your hat?
I did not wear the hat in. There's all white people that work there. It wouldn't even make sense. They wouldn't even get it. It's all white people. I'm like, there's not one Asian in here. I'm like, how does this work? I'm going to call the fucking Southern Poverty Law Center or some shit.
Yeah,
you should have gone to Shitty Walk.
Ethan, go ahead and take this comment I highlighted from the chat, and then I'm going to use the rest. Yeah. I'll be right back.
John Adams, during the Revolution, traveled to France to petition for funds and assistance. On the trip, Adams' ship engaged a British ship carrying cables. Even John Adams had to fire on the ship. Yeah, see, we don't have that kind of leadership anymore. Our leaders, they lead from the rear. They lead from the rear. They're terrified to get their hands dirty with the plebs because they look down on us. They do. It's almost the aristocracy. Is what the governments, they see themselves as that. They do. They look down on us.
If we fire on that ship, the Chinese will get mad we're not buying their cables.
And this is a point to individual responsibility as well. When you're in a situation like that, you have to do what you are capable of doing. And I don't know if anybody else watches Pleb Media from time to time. Don the Pleb is my usual black pill stream, but he's always, he's pushing out there look, no one's coming to save us, as we like to say. There's no, you don't want the war. The war might be coming, but it's not going to be what you think. What you got to do is what you can do and go talk to the people you can talk to and set up the thing you're going to need, you have to go get or make. So it's like you have to be sufficient for yourself. He's constantly pushing that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
with his non-monetized YouTube channel because he speaks the truth.
Jeez.
See, and that's another problem that we have in this. The war for information. It's the cerebral war. That's the thing right now. Is everybody thinks it's going to be civil war. That's not the same context anymore. It's on a different front.
Time to play the game.
It is, it's the cerebral is that. Well, yeah, I mean that's it. You look at it look at politics sometimes, and it looks like one side's playing chess, the other one's playing checkers, and it's usually, and I hate to say it, but we know who's playing checkers most of the time because we see who's getting over and who's not, and but all the same though, like I said, you have one side that says everything is not fair, the other side that side that decrees everything is not fair and make the rules. And then the side that says it's not fair doesn't ever play by the fucking rules. And the other side's like, oh, we'll just play by the rules and maybe they'll fall in line. And it's like, they never do. So and that's why we got to where we are. That's why we're here, is we allowed it to happen.
But you know what, ETEP, though, I will say this: just because you know how to play chess doesn't necessarily mean intelligence.
No, it does not. It's good memory.
I had a thing in my past where I was in a county, and anyway, so the guy was playing chess, and I wanted to fuck with him because since that's all they were playing, I said, "Hey, let's play checkers," and he could not grasp the concept of checkers, and it was absolutely hilarious. Here's this guy sitting there playing chess, and he couldn't figure out checkers, and boy was he getting pissed. And I was like, "Oh man, you just lost all your chips because I just quadruple jumped and kinged."
Oh, this is a great comment. Small Time says Pete Buttigieg leads from the rear.
Everything's fine. It's great. The shelves are empty. The economy's it's booming. It's booming. That's what that means. Oh, is that what that means? Holy crap! Put down your crack pipe.
Whose silence has been very, very funny is my governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Oh God!
The wicked witch of the mitten has not. I haven't heard from her in a while. She's after all her executive overreach and everything, she kind of crawled back under the rock and just decided to hide, I think, in her bunker.
Is that the one that tried to kidnap herself or something?
Yeah. They hired all those FBI agents and said that it was a bunch of good old boys that were, of course, Trump supporters trying to kidnap. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, they arrested undercover guy. Hey, whatever. Pay no attention to me.
Was that his name? Smollett?
Juicy Smollett organized that operation. Yeah.
He's like, she punched me in the face and then kidnapped herself.
They threw acid on me and screamed, "This is MAGA country."
Holy crap. And screamed, "This is MAGA country."
I get to hear my dulcet tones again. Thank you for that playback.
Oh man, the thing that cracks me up is the one that I just can't stand when she talks. That makes no sense. Is Mayor Beetlejuice.
Oh God, Mayor Gordon Lightfoot.
She had fun at a baseball game or something recently.
Man, both of those women are up to not very good things lately. You mentioned Gretchen. I noticed, and she just this was not that long ago. Just vetoed 4 voting bills in her state, trying to solve the gaps in the laws that may or may not have affected the election. And what did Lightfoot just get off trying to do? She tried to deny people their pensions. It was like the police. I can't remember what it was. It was like something very recent, like the last couple of days.
anything out of Chicago politically that's corrupt, it just like, okay, stands to reason. It's Chicago, it's corrupt as that's the way they were. She's as bad as De Blasio. They're equally as dumb.
Oh God! Oh good Lord!
I just thought she used all of her time trying to impersonate Julie from Your Highness.
Tina says, "Thankfully, I'm just west of Chicago in Cook County, and the corruption is instilled in every Chicago community."
Oh
yeah. It's crazy. Small Time says the same guys that attacked Smollett also tie knots and pull ropes in NASCAR garages.
Yeah,
they're very busy.
I laughed when they said that. They were like, "That's so racist." They had a noose. I'm like, haven't you ever been in a fucking garage? Like what?
Apparently not.
No.
What you know what I want to see? I want to see somebody run up to Lightfoot and just go Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice to see if she disappears.
Oh God!
So here's what she's doing. She wants to send the cops that go without the mandate. She wants to basically not pay them, just send them home and say you're cut off from your pay. And she's also she accused them of attempting a insurrection for not abiding by the mandate. So it's the same playbook where they're taking anyone that's ideologically opposed and applying the most outrageous label that they can to them. And thankfully, she didn't say domestic errorism, because if and I keep saying this, if they manage to make that label stick to any group, it's going to set a precedent that's going to result in immediate violence, because they're going to be able to do whatever they want as soon as people accept that label. It's the most dangerous precedent.
She accused them of an erection.
Yeah, which, I mean, anyone that's getting accused of an erection by Lori Lightfoot is probably innocent until proven guilty.
You have, if that's what sort of thing turns you on, you have a set of proclivities that even astounds me. Because I'm sorry, with a gun to the back of my head, my life on the line, I couldn't. I'd be like, just fucking double tap me, make sure I don't come back as
I actually had a song for this. Almost everything's a fetish. Just so get so offended. Not just kids, they're off limits. Not kids, they're off limits. That's the song.
I like it.
Nice, dude.
You need to tag Kevin Spacey on Twitter, though.
Yeah. Oh man. You know, Ruben, you're right, bro. Oh gosh, Mayor Pete is just wow. You know,
and Obama.
He knows how to dock. Put it that way. He just ain't gonna dock the ships. Exactly it. Yeah, the Tina says one of my son's volunteers with local PD. Most of their new recruits are ex-Chicago PD officers who couldn't exit the city fast enough. Yeah, you know, it's bad in Democrat-run cities, and I didn't get an opportunity to get into some of my local and Ohio questions with JR, but man, you know, I want to see what he has to say about our state and our area next time when we get him on. But you know, I know here in a few I gotta run. I actually got to get some meds for mom. Again, I want to thank the chat for your great questions this evening and for hanging out with us and being the best chat on YouTube, like you guys always are. You guys are always on fire. You guys are great.
Drew, I think we should also throw a shout out to our fearful leader, who is leading from behind like he always does and giving everybody enemas.
No, Stephen. Yeah, hail to Stephen. You know, he can join us tonight. I know he's got a different work schedule now, and
he's busy, very busy.
Also, you know, thanks for culture. That couldn't stay the whole time, but he was here and asked some really good stuff. And
nice.
You know, I will go around the panel and let these guys do their outros to tell you where they can be found. And again, I just want to say thanks to everybody listening. If you want to help the channel, you know, click that exclamation point tip command, and that'll bring up the Stream Elements link, this handy dandy link right here. Of course, all proceeds right now that we take in from Stream Elements, the channel's not monetized, so that's the way you can super chat. It's all going. It's all super hats. It's all going towards right now replacing our hot water heater here at the house. The hot water heater went out about a week and a half ago, and my mom and I are still trying to get that replaced. So any help that you know, we can get through either this or other means, you know, it's greatly appreciated. So again, thank you for supporting the channel and for supporting this content. I really do appreciate you guys. Even, you know, any way that you give that support, just hanging out is enough, and sharing out the stream. So thank you again so much, chat. All right, we'll go around and we'll start with Tommy in the Guinea Pig Collective.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? Tommy in the Guinea Pig Collective here, nibbling off toes. And I was trying to behave today. I really was. I think I was on my best piggy behavior today. But you can find me on my channel talking about old toys, retro toys being done right, old movies, and of course, every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern, we do going old school retro discussions where we get together and we talk about those things that we love from the past so much. This past Monday, yesterday, we did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Silverhawks, and we were talking about the Halloween movie. And then it led down a rabbit hole of talking about serial killers from the past, which was highly entertaining. It's a shame Vinny missed out on that because I'm sure he would have loved that discussion too. But thank you so much, everybody that's in the chat that stopped by today. Without you, this doesn't happen, and it's not as much fun. It really isn't, because we could sit there and talk in a closed room if we want to, but it's going to be kind of boring after a while. Awesome hanging out with everybody on the panel, and thanks to JR for stopping by and being so professional about it and answering all our questions, even though really he didn't have to.
Yeah, and RR says Cliff Jumper wants a nibble.
Yes, he does. Constantly.
All right, let's toss it on over to the guy that got here a little bit late, but he showed up as always, and that is Vinny. Hail to you, Mr. Vinny Art.
Hail, my brothers. Yeah, I was disappointed. I missed out on the on that dude running, but yeah, man, I would have had some good questions. But either way, I'm glad it was a good stream, and he answered a bunch of stuff. Again, like you guys said, really kind that he did it. I'll have to go back and look at those, or watch those questions and everything. But yeah, man, Tommy, I didn't know that the conversation was going to go that way, but I had to go jump over. We were hanging out on ETEPs yesterday as well, and both streams were very awesome, very fun. If you guys missed it, go back and watch them both. Great stuff over there. But and yeah, please support my channel as well. I'm very close to getting monetized. Almost there with the subs, the watch hour, pretty much there as well. Yeah, any support would be great. Shout out to the Kraken is still looking absolutely beautiful. I'm working on it as we speak. It's I can't wait to get this thing into your hands, to be honest. But yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Hey,
thank you, everybody, man.
Hey, Vinny.
Yeah. Before
you go, I was just curious. Is Dr. Fauci? Did he say if both Halloween and Christmas are canceled now? Are we allowed to have Halloween?
Here's the thing. I want you all to get your boosters. You don't get your boosters, I'm going to cancel Halloween. Christmas is dead because I don't believe in the Lord. I am the Lord. I am your Lord. I am Fauci. Pray to me. Buy my candles over at drdeath.com. Fuck that guy. He's a piece of shit. Ban that video. All right? We got all the stories on this scumbag.
There you go.
Nice.
Before you move off Vinny's avatar, I also want to say, I almost forgot, that we are actually close to getting collectible pass going, where me and Vinny are going to be talking about some old toys and cartoons and possibly comics and maybe some other stuff. It's going to be very similar to my retro stream in some respects, but probably it's going to be a lot more focused than the one I do, where we kind of go off on tangents. So we're looking at hopefully maybe starting next Thursday. If not next Thursday, it's definitely going to be the Thursday after. So we're going to definitely start plugging it on every Rogue show and every other show that we stop in, because we want you guys to be able to stop by and enjoy that stuff. And once again, reminisce about those things that are from the past, or maybe some of the newer stuff that's being done absolutely perfectly. So
absolutely, man. And I can't wait too, because I'm going to drop some of my toy knowledge from my past jobs. We'll get in there. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun. I mean, whenever I get a chance to pop in on your shows on Monday, they're always a blast, man. So I'm looking forward to this. So yeah, man. Thank you, everyone.
All right. And speaking of indie creators, let's go over to one of the other great indie creators in our wonderful fellowship, and that is the Red Gaze.
Hey, what up? Red Gaze on YouTube, at the Red Gaze on Twitter. Yeah, JR seemed like a really cool dude. It was good to talk to somebody like that. And I firmly believe that's what we need more of. We need more real people running for this stuff, and absolutely term limits. So I mean, the odds of us seeing both of those things occur are pretty slim, but let's keep pushing for it. Yeah, sunsworn.com is where you can grab that the latest graphic novel. It's going to be fulfilling. So fulfillment's going to start this week. So I got pretty much everything I need. Had a couple of snafus in the production area, but yeah, yeah, we're getting ready to roll them out. So if you haven't grabbed yours yet, please do, or at least spread the word. And thank you all, everyone who supported that. Any other independent products, like Chris Fisk has an awesome independent project right now as well called Infinitales. Check that out too. Yeah, guys, you get like everyone else said, you guys make this happen. So thank you for being here. Thank you for all the support, be it word of mouth or what have you. Just being here is awesome. So thank you guys, and always good to see you guys on the panel. Drew, you run a smooth ship. I was happy to sail on it,
dude. You did pretty awesome as an interviewer there, sir. Not too shabby.
I was a little off the cuff, but I try. I'm pretty passionate about the Second Amendment.
Too. I mean, that was awesome. That was a killer question. So, all right, we'll move over to my co-host of the Pegasus Actual Podcast, along with, of course, our sassy Southern Belle, Arwen Avalon, who may or may not still be in the chat. Hail to you, Arwen. And we have Zach, Mr. Brightest Day. I still say Zach failed basic flight because he always did.
The next time we go, I'll put Zach failed. I'll make you feel better. I'll put it in there, okay?
Yeah.
That sound good? Hi, everybody. Brightest Day on YouTube, Twitch, Odyssey, pretty much everywhere. My About page has every link you could ever want to reach me on. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, booked with Brightest Day, where I read sci-fi novels to you. Tuesday, model building streams, and here. Thursday, retro gaming streams, and Pegasus Actual Podcast. Love you guys.
Yep, and we're probably this Thursday not going to have a Pegasus, only because, folks, because I know you like BSG, but my buddy did call me and offered me a free ticket to Thursday Night Football. So I'm going to see the Browns and the Broncos in Cleveland on Thursday night. So I'm not going to be doing Pegasus this week. But, I wasn't going to pass up a free ticket to the Browns game. So
be careful when you just accept things for free, because Walton might come around and give you the real Browns.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, hey, happy early birthday, Chris. Nice. All right. I want to say shout out to Maria with Tinatelli. Great to see you, Maria. Wonderful, wonderful gal. Absolutely love her content. I was on her channel just recently, as a matter of fact. She's really, really awesome lady. So you should consider subbing to Maria.
She's on the Orville. She's on the Orville show.
Oh, yeah.
Maria's lovely.
She's an absolute doll.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, all right, let's go over to my boy E-Tip, the People's Champ. Thank you, by the way.
He's no longer the People's Champ anymore. He's now the Piggies Champ.
I am. I love that picture, man. I showed that to my wife. Like, check this out. I'm the Piggies Champ.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, by the way, E-Tip, for you too. With the interview skills.
Absolutely, man. I go back. It just goes back to the broadcast days. I actually learned something when I wasn't getting kicked off the air. But hi, I'm E-Tep Okuian of the Place to Be Reviews. If you haven't subscribed to me yet, you probably should. I'm pretty entertaining. And tomorrow it'll be tomorrow afternoon. I'm about midway through production of my Halloween Kills review in the stylings of Cleveland Brown, because I hated that movie so much I watched it 4 times to review it. Yes, that's right. So I'll have that coming out tomorrow. We have my Rogue show going rogue tomorrow night, 8:35 Eastern. Myself, Tony, and working on guests right now. And Thursday you'll have my Batwoman review, because Batwoman is on tomorrow night. And you got your shirt. Awesome, Chris. Chris bought a shirt from the Teespring store.
Nice.
And we're gonna have speaking of which, we got new shirt designs. We got the Monday night, because Monday night Going in Raw is the flagship. So the front, and big shout out to Wake Down. This dude rocks. He retouched some of my art up so we could blow it up and put it on the shirts for you guys. We'll have Monday night Going in Raw, and on the back it says no protection needed. So yeah, we'll have that coming out. We've got the Egyptian headdress with the freaking scepters. It says A Place to Be Reviews on it. On the back it'll be it'll be Wokuian like an Egyptian. I'll be on the back going like this. So yeah, we've got a lot of shit coming out. Tony's designing a shirt for the channel right now. And yeah, like I said, Thursday you guys will get to watch me suffer. Batwoman is on Wednesday night, so I'll be reviewing that Thursday. I'm gonna take all week to do 2 videos. It'll be the Halloween Kills review, Batwoman, and then we'll have the live show tomorrow night, the morning show on Thursday. I'll review Phantasm. I just watched the first Phantasm. I'll be dropping a review of that probably on Friday, and part 2 and 3 next week. So yeah, I've got a lot planned on the channel. I'm busy, and usually you can find me on Tuesday nights over on Tony Tone Deaf's reviewing the Monday Night Wars, but Tony needed the night off, so we took the night off from that. So I'm gonna go watch that show You with my wife, which, wow, that is a stalkerific show right there if I've ever seen one. I mean, it reminds me a couple of my exes, but just, hey, cabrón. But thank you, Drew, for having me on. And yeah, I extremely I enjoyed talking to JR. It's nice to talk to a politician who you can tell is just one of the people, you know. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, that's a that's a good point, because like we were saying, getting talking to the populist candidates, and I think all of you guys that participated and got a question in, and when we got an idea of what JR was about, I think talking to populist candidates, that's going to be the game changer, really. Yeah. For us to have actual organic change happen. If we could get people that actually remember how to represent the people, I mean, that's what we need.
That's ludicrous.
And that's why personally I feel so passionate about it as a journalist, because these are the type of people I want to talk to. These are the type of people that I want to speak with and give a platform to, so that they can continue to get that message out there. Because I'm all about, the people coming first, because, our voice is being taken away and we need that voice back.
Absolutely.
So I do want to say again, thank you to everyone that came out tonight and watched the stream. Thank you to everyone that went and, came on the panel and participated in the stream. I want to again thank all the moderators that were so diligent in putting the links out there and everything, all the relevant stuff needed to get a hold of JR, and also anybody else on the links on the panel that had links. So I appreciate that. And most of all, I want to thank the chat for being just so awesome, being the best chat on YouTube like you always are, and bringing it strong. You guys make these streams such a pleasure to do, and we do them because we appreciate you. And we do that because this platform is all about being for the people, and we want to be indeed that resistance that makes a difference. And I think that we are doing that slowly but surely, folks. So don't lose faith. We need to unite. We need to come together. And I think in the end, if we are passionate about how we feel about one another, believe in our various countries, and we just believe in real human rights and human freedom, we're going to win this. I truly believe that. So thank you so much, folks. You are indeed all my brothers and sisters. Much love. God bless. And take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Have a great night, and we will see you soon.
So say we all.
So say we all.
They think it's right to murder. They want to murder. Look at all the people, and they get a kick out of it. A sexual kick out of it. The whole thing, I think it's sick. 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 think it's sick. The whole thing, I think it's